Okay, so to catch the time, so we have to call Dr. Arno Fruehwald from Germany. He's going to talk about oil palm trunk and the fiber utilization, flow of material, nutrients, and carbon. And the floor is yours.
So thank you very much for the introduction. So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm happy to be back up here and talk to you. And I'd like to take you on a journey to Malaysia again. And excuse me, please, that I'm talking on oil palm, but what I'm going to explain is valid for all the palms. If we think of using palm fiber or even the fruits, it is important. So if we look to the oil palm, I already talked about the day before yesterday, so we have a very high productivity and a high area. So oil palm are the number one, and the area is bigger than all the other palms together, almost. And the oil palms have quite a short life. They are felled because of declining oil production after 25 or 30 years. And when clearing, we have a huge amount of biomass on the site. So it's about 130 on average dry tons of biomass per hectare. This is impressive compared, for example, to date palm or to other palms. So it is obvious that we are thinking of using a part, at least a part of this material. But when we went to Malaysia, when we went to Indonesia and presented concepts for big industry, even for big industry, using 100,000 cubic meters, 200,000 cubic meters, we were told, no. All the material contains a lot of nutrients, and you are taking away our nutrients, and we have to compensate fertilization. So we decided to look more deeper into this problem. Also, we have been engineers and technicians. So we looked first on what is done with the biomass. Traditionally, oil palm biomass at the time of clearing is burned to get rid of it and to sanitize the plantation area. So it's piled together in rows, 100-meter distance. With the help of diesel, is burned, and Southeast Asia was dark at the end of the dry season because of the smoke. Then this was forbidden, so the zero burning strategy was introduced by law in most of the countries, or in all of the countries. And what is done today, the biomass is chipped and distributed on the ground. And you imagine 130,000 tons chipped, 130 tons chipped on a hectare is a layer of about 10 centimeters thickness. And fungi and beetle love this method because we have a lot of different fungi, Scanoderma, for example, and they grow and grow and grow, and the biomass is gone more or less after 6 months, after 12 months, because we are in the tropical rainforest, so it's always wet and humid, and so the fungi love this environment. So the idea could be, it doesn't matter if we take out a part of it, it is rotten anyhow, so let's think about that. And this fits perfectly in the whole process chain. I already just presented this on the day before yesterday. So when we look on the resource, on the products, on the processing, and so on, one of the aspects is the nutrient balance or the nutrient export we are doing with taking biomass out of the plantation. Okay, if we look to the biomass balance, so on the left column we have all the 30 years production figures. 270 tons per hectare are produced in fronds of leaves, 250 in fresh fruit bunches, 75 tons in form of trunks and so on. And when we look on the right column, we see what's remaining after 25 years. So it's about 25 tons of fronds and leaves, 5 tons of fruit bunches which have not been used, 75 tons of trunks, 25 tons of roots, so we have the 130 tons left over. 50% or even more than 50% are the trunks. And so the idea is to use first the trunks and maybe also a part of these 25 tons remaining of the fibrous biomass. And if you look to the production of leaves and fronds, it's 270 tons over time. And so the idea could also be to take out every year a certain amount of that material. So the same we did with nutrient balance. You see in the left column, you see the uptake of nutrients over 30 years, the lifetime. It's altogether 19 tons of nutrients are taken up by the oil palms. 6.6 end up in the fresh fruit bunches. And on the right column, you see the nutrient accumulation at the end of the lifetime when the plantation site is cleared. So this is something around 3 tons. And most, about 10 tons, is recycled because from the leaves and fronds. And so if we take out now this fiber material at the end, the trunks, for example, then we interfere in the nutrient balance. But is it really a problem? When we look on a new plantation, so after clearing, during beginning of the wet season, it is replanted, and we have small plants, 2 years old, and we have a spacing of 9 by 7 meter normally. So this is 63 square meter per plant. But if you look on this small table, you see the root area. Of course, a small plant has a very small root area. And so if you look on the picture on the bottom, you have the small plants, and the space in between the small palms is rather large. And if we pile up all our biomass evenly on the area, we will lose the biomass because the biomass rots within at least 12 months, or everything is gone after 24 months. And the nutrients are washed down to the deeper soil. And they cannot be reached by the small new palms. So a significant part of the nutrients from the remaining biomass is already lost to the deep soil. And this has to be compensated later on. So that's why the idea was to take out some of the biomass and think about an intelligent compensation with fertilization. So just a few figures. I don't talk about all the figures. If you see more to the right side, the very last, the second column, total, you see what is in the availability at the time of clearing. It's 1,100 kilograms of nutrient on a hectare. If you look to the lower table, part of the table, what a palm needs when it's young, 0 to 3 years, it needs approximately 40 kilograms. Then if it's 9 years old, up to 9 years, needs about 140 kilograms. So if you compare these figures, you see it would take 10 years for the palms, theoretically, to consume the nutrients which are on the ground instantly after felling. And so in the time in between, most of the nutrients have gone. And so we also did a lot of studies, what is the nutrient content of the different parts of the biomass. Here, for example, for fresh fruit bunches. We did a lot of studies on oil palm trunks. So we looked where are nutrients, which type of nutrients are in the oil palm trunks, and so on. And then we made some comparison, this table. We have on the left column the biomass produced, and in red we have the nutrient quantity, the red figures. Let's concentrate on the red figures. If we don't use, we keep the red figures, the nutrients, except with the fruit bunches. They are exported anyhow. The third column is if we use a certain part, and our strategy was we use 25% of the leaves and fronds, and 75% of the trunks at the end of the life cycle. And then we calculated the product manufacturing and everything, and we looked how much residues do we have available for likely return as a fertilizer. This was some kind of a balance. And the idea was that we take residues, which contain already nutrients, produce from the residues pellets with the help of urea-based glue, because urea makes up 50% is already fertilizer. And we could add to these pellets during production the ashes from burning, the remaining biomass, and we also can add artificial nutrients, artificial fertilizer. So according to the needs of the soil we are talking of. And then we, with an intelligent hardening system of the urea glue, we could even define the time of release of the nutrients. Could be 3 months, could be 12 months, could be 3 years. And so the idea is to bring back some fiber mass together with nutrients to the area in the plantation where it's needed. The advantages would be we have it only in that area where the nutrients are necessary around the new palms for the first 10 years. And the nutrient release is adjustable to the local conditions. And we have little loss of nutrients, which are quite expensive. So this is the concept. We developed the concept for a few plantation companies in Malaysia. And I told you that there's also already a sawmill under construction. They will use 200,000 cubic meter of trunks. And they most likely will apply this concept. So we take out fibers, we take out the trunks, we produce panels, MDF panels, for example. We produce lumber for furniture or for building purposes. The residues are partly burned for energy generation and partly pressed into pellets. And the ash from burning is incorporated into the pellets, and we can, on the bottom here, you see external nutrients we can also apply. And so we get pellets to be brought back to the plantation. So this has quite a good advantage. You see again the mass balance. And if the fibers are used, and the concept at the moment is 20% of the fronds and leaves, This is 50 tons. From the 50 tons, we bring back the half of the material and 75% of the trunks. From that, about 1/3 would come back in form of pellets and nutrients. So in total, we would have 105 tons over 30 years from 1 hectare. This is about 16% of all the biomass produced. So this is not a very big part of the whole biomass and the whole mass of nutrients. So I think that's all. We are short in time. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you for your presentation. Any question?
No questions. So thank you very much. I think I take this that everything is clear and you will apply this concept or similar concepts.
Let's thank our speaker again.
Thank you.